Hey everybody, good morning. In this news shared with Zenny62 Media by the press office of the Trump administration, the Voice of America was shut down illegally, and on March 16th, this was even the news before then, but it was posted on Friday, originally by a press release, but as you can read, it says clearly anything but done in his effort to remake America via executive order and bypass Congress. Let's see how that works. President Donald Trump has signed another illegal executive order, this one that goes after the Voice of America. The organization that is the Voice of America is part of the U.S. Agency for Global Media, USAMGM, the government agency that oversees all non-military U.S. international broadcasting. The Voice of America is funded by the U.S. Congress, and that's why Trump's executive order is illegal. For decades, the Voice of America has been relentlessly nonpartisan, but it's a completely lacko lens of the world that believes it's okay to shut it down. And so the Trump administration sees the organization as, you guessed it, radical. To the end of stopping that noise, all workers have been placed on paid leave or until a judge steps in and tells the Trump administration to send them back to the office. The Voice of Radical America, says Trump. The Trump administration press release reads as follows, and is a result of cherry picking here and there to prove an untenable point. He starts with saying that taxpayers are no longer on the hook for radical propaganda. Then he points to a Dan Robinson, who's a 34-year veteran of the Voice of America, and then claims that Robinson claims that the Voice of America has become a hubris-filled rogue operation, often reflecting a leftist bias with partisan national media. It is sought to avoid accountability for violations of journalistic standards and mismanagement. And then they go on their quote, of all places, the Daily Caller. The Daily Caller is a noted conservative media organization. And quote Scott Perry, another conservative. The Washington Free Beacon, a conservative publication. The Voice of America is quoted as asking, what is white privilege and whom does it help? Which is a good question. And then it goes on to write that the Voice of America claims to have asked or said, today the phrase is used passionately and widely in the context of racial profiling. Police treatment of people is criminal suspects based on their race. This goes on and on and on. President Trump's claim that the Voice of America is radical is not backed by evidence. A simple online review calls into question President Trump's claim that the Voice of America is the picture of radical media. The survey platform All Sides reports that, quote, Voice of America is a news media source with an All Sides media bias rating of center. Then it concludes, respondents who rated their own bias as left, center, lean right, or right, all rated Voice of America as center. On average, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents rated Voice of America as center, which means it's not biased at all, one way or another. A total of 618 people. And it goes on. Phil Williams shares how much he loves the Voice of America and says that he admired its mission to show the world how journalists in a free society were allowed to tell truths that other governments denied. That voice has now been silenced. And Steve Inskeep explains that the Trump administration locks out employees of Voice of America, a service created by law, and tries to terminate contracts for Radio Free Europe and others. My colleague, David Furnick, has way more detail than I have seen elsewhere, and it is worth reading. For more, folks, just go to ZennyReport.com and either scroll down or search Voice of America. And make sure you bookmark ZennyReport.com by Zenny62 Media Incorporated.